June 27th, 1837, I'm standing in front of a school full of students as the first ever secretary of the Massachusetts Board of Education. And honestly, the job I just accepted is low-key impossible. Massachusetts has 3,000 schools, and most of them are straight-up disasters. I gave up a law practice for this mess, and my friends think I'm unhinged. But here's the thing. If we don't educate every single kid in this country, rich or poor, this whole American experiment is going to fail. My name is Horace Mann, and this is the AP US History My Story podcast. Let me tell you how bad education was in 1837. Most schools met in falling apart buildings with broken windows, no heat in winter, and maybe one textbook for 30 kids. Teachers, they got paid less than farm laborers and usually had zero training. The school year was like 12 weeks because kids had to work in farms. And if your parents couldn't afford to send you to a private academy, too bad. You'd grow up barely able to sign your own name. So when they created this Board of Education position, I saw my shot. My plan was actually pretty straightforward, even if it was revolutionary for 1837. First, make schools free and available to every kid regardless of their family's wealth. Second, extend the school year so kids actually had time to learn something. Third, create normal schools. That's what we called teacher training colleges, so teachers knew what the hell they were doing. Fourth, pay teachers actual living wages so we could attract talented people instead of whoever was desperate enough to take the job. And fifth and finally, standardize the curriculum so a kid in Western Massachusetts learned the same basics as a kid in Boston. The pushback was immediate and intense. Religious groups freaked out because I wanted public schools to be non-sectarian, teaching moral values without pushing any specific denomination. They thought I was trying to create a generation of atheists. Wealthy conservatives claimed I was a socialist trying to redistribute their tax money to the poor. Some towns straight up refused to cooperate, saying the state had no business telling them how to run their schools. But here's what they didn't understand. You can't have a democracy where most people can't read. You can't have a functioning economy where workers lack basic skills. Every kid we didn't educate became a problem we'd have to deal with later, either through poverty, crime, or political instability. By the 1840s, Massachusetts was leading the country in education reform, and other states started copying us. Connecticut, Rhode Island, New York, they all adopted similar models. By 1850, the Common School movement was spreading across the North. But let's be honest, the education reform movement had some problems. We were trying to Americanize immigrant children, which meant conforming everyone to white Protestant middle-class norms and erasing their cultures and languages. Girls could attend common schools, sure, but they got subjects such as needlework instead of advanced mathematics. And my education reforms only applied to the North. Southern states didn't want to educate enslaved people because they were terrified of them finding a common cause. After I left the Board of Education in 1848, I served in Congress briefly, then became president of Antioch College in Ohio, trying to expand higher education opportunities for women and African Americans. I died in 1859, just as the country was about to tear itself apart over slavery, which no amount of education reform could fix. By 1900, most American children attended public schools. By 1950, high school was nearly universal. I spent my life championing for a society where every child gets a chance. We didn't fully deliver on that promise in my lifetime, and we still haven't fully delivered on it today. But we established the principle, and that matters. Like, follow, and share the AP US History My Story podcast, because these stories hit different when you hear the original voices that shaped our country.